Salut, bienvenue dans Mao Live. Aujourd'hui, on reçoit Glädjee. Welcome.
Hello, thank you. Thank you for the
My
warm welcome.
pleasure.
A pleasure.
So you were born in Spain and raised in Italy.
Yes.
How have these two cultures shaped your musical identity?
When I was born in Spain, everything was so colorful for me. Also, the people had this kind of different behavior. Also, in music terms, they have so many influence, like in Latin and the popular stuff. So basically, I was raised by these kind of vibes of my country, of course, but also my family, because it's all Italian members family.
Okay.
They learn me about the culture, Italian culture, music culture, and everything about all the country. But then, when I came in Italy, I was like surrounding myself. Too many people were so close to me, and also they were dislocated and also located in different kind of genres, like from the Italian stuff, but also hip hop, like the American ones, the Italian rap, and also that kind of culture of break. And with my brother, we started a different kind of path with electronic music. So everything was inside a big. Yeah, and this kind of genre influenced me a lot also to research, and also don't put limits on your view of music, because everything can be great and also can influence your kind of dynamic set, you need also to experiment a lot, I think.
Yes. But so it was like my next question, like your sound blends elements of hip hop, breakbeat, electro, techno, and also hard groove.
Yes.
How did you develop such a diverse musical palette?
Because basically when I started music, this journey in music was through my brother, as I told you before, because before we literally met in his studio, and he showed me his collection of vinyls and stuff about electronic music, the pioneers ones. So basically I was there with C.J. Boylan and also Ben Clock and Richie Haunting and a lot of stuff, but also coming from kind of rock and punk stuff. So it was all blending and kind of open-minded. But it was different for me in the beginning, because I didn't expect to understand the music in that way, because it was like, oh my god, this is such a group of sounds, but they are speaking to me a lot.
Yeah.
There's no words, but I can understand the intention of the artist, and also I can understand what that sound can be translated by, a vibe, a frequency, an hertz, that is little detail that shaped all the sound. So basically, I was attached from the beginning to explore some kind of any kind of genre. But when I was little, I was so moving through hip hop and break, because I was surrounded by this group of 20 males that they were literally in hip hop scene, freestyle, writings, skateboarding. So everything was blended in that culture. And then I move on the other techno stuff and electronic music, especially the old electro, kind of 1980s. So
you explored a lot of things.
A lot. I'm also now searching to blend other kind of genres inside my set, because I get bored so fast. Not about music, but that kind of pre-imposted set. So I want to experiment.
To always experiment and discover blends different.
Exactly.
And so your sets are often described as an unpredictable journey. How important is it for you to keep the audience constantly surprised?
For me, it's important that people can feel the tension, but also the atmosphere. But I think that depends on my kind of feelings in that moment, because every time I play is always different because in that time I was feeling good, I was feeling bad, I was feeling sad. I, of course, try to do my best, the best I can, because I want also, to grow inside me that kind of, energy, and I want also to make people happy about the set, to hear that sounds and everything. So for me, it's important to put atmosphere, like a dream atmosphere, dream state atmosphere, and blending intention, but also like a adrenaline and driving techno that shapes all the sound, and so the crowd can be really into the sound. But for me, it's not important to to be the, oh my god, she was the best set of the night. I'm happy if people understood and understand in that moment what I wanted to transmit. Yeah.
And your music feels deeply connected to self-expression.
Yes.
What emotions or messages do you hope people experience through your music?
As I said, for me, it's very important that people keep dreaming inside, this atmosphere, inside the dreamland sounds. So basically, for me, it's really, really important that people can keep that chill vibe, but also, keep attention to the sound, the layers blending through the mixing and everything, because I think that sometimes people get lost into, the drops and also wait for them because they want to, of course, dance and have fun and everything. But the best journey is when you lost totally yourself into the sound and don't have any expectations. You are there experiencing all the journey, also when the tension grows inside, and then you release everything through the drop, basically.
Deep bass line, syncopated rhythm, and a strong street attitude are key elements of your sound. So how did this become part of your artistic signature?
Yeah, they become inside. I always, put the electro stuff and also breaks and everything, as I said, because for me it's important to manifest my interest also in other genres. So I want also to see how people react when I put the kind of different style from techno or, the proper one that everybody knows. And I want every time that people experience the feeling of getting outside the comfort zone in music, because they need to experiment that kind of feeling of knowledge. Because you are getting into the club, you are listening to an artist, to a set, and you have to remember that in that moment that artist put that good track, and it was like, oh my god, in that moment I remember so good, for real, I can remember sets of artists of 2 years ago, 5 years ago, because in that moment
it was something special happening.
Typical. And I remember these artists because they did something different from the usual. So I try.
You want to do the same thing?
Of course. Also, I want to put it into my production, this kind of, influences of genres. So I hope so.
And you've said that your sound is constantly evolving through the influences you absorb in clubs.
Of course.
How do club experiences continue to shape your creative process?
I started with a different kind of vibe, especially for the hard groove, because I was usually playing such a happy stuff, happy techno, happy hard groove, and also moving so fast. And through the journey, I was experimenting a real culture inside the clubs, especially when I went to Berlin and went to the clubs, the famous ones, and also stayed there for so long, and also tried to study the people, the crowd, because when I go into the clubs and experience the club as a client, like at the crowd, I was like, okay, I'm getting into this flow with them. So it's for I try to absorb everything when I'm also into the gigs. I'm every time present, even if I finish my set. I stayed so long until the end, and even in the beginning, because I want to know how the other move through to the music and what they bring and everything. But I think that every time you go through something, not just for the music, in general in life, you are like able to experiment some kind of feelings that you always can translate in sounds. So basically, this what shapes the dynamic, choosing of, okay, I'm gonna do electro this day, I'm gonna do proper techno, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. But basically, it's because it's kind of pattern, life pattern. So into this moment, I'm moving into like a dark sounds and everything, because I'm experimenting so much stuff about this kind of vibe into the clubs. So basically, it's like a kind of club influence. So I'm gonna say that. I'm gonna say that. Oh, it drops.
It's okay.
Gonna put. Yeah. Okay.
You good?
Yes.
Perfect. You co-founded Evanescence and Sunday Recovery. Can you tell us more about these projects?
I met these wonderful, delicious guys here in Milano, and we wanted basically to do more for the community stuff. And we wanted to bring the opportunity to share this experience through the emergent artists, and also the artists that they haven't enough, gigs, or basically a moment, like there are two different kind of stuff. Evanescence is kind of, dreamland, when everything blends into artistic visions, not only for music but also for exhibitions, dancing, ballets, paintings.
It's very different disciplines.
Yes, but also with music, so everything blends into this dreamland. Sunday Recovery is a format that we usually do through the Sundays, and it was like a moment of the week when everything can recover from literally from the week, and met into these bars, locals, clubs, and everything, because we wanted to move also. And can share an experience, a moment all together, like a big family. So basically, they are, kind of similar into this, because they are like proposed to do something more, attached for the community stuff, because it's not like a kind of profit stuff, but it's for
you want to
sharing.
Create, a community, or
of course. This is for only for the community, I think. Most important thing for me.
It's important, and you're also a resident of Hangover, Milan.
Yes, from January.
What is exactly Hangover?
Hangover is a community in Milano, and it's kind of also word when everything blends into artistic stuff and everything, and it's kind of, of course, he's more big because they started a journey some years ago, and also did a lot of collaborations with other collectives in Milano, like a Slate Collective, for example. So basically also they can bring, and they shaped the reality in Milano, bringing the culture from other countries like Berlin or Paris and everything. So it's kind of good for the Milano scene to see how many collectives can create something unique together. So basically, I'm super happy to be part of Hangover, because they are also my friends, my family. I met them in a moment where I was like lost in my spark in Milano, and I was like, oh my God, I can have this light of hoping, and also I can share my values, my vibes, and everything. And I'm super happy to be part of Hangover.
And to conclude, what are your upcoming projects for the next months?
About the music, in general?
Music or everything you want to share?
In general, for the next months, I'm gonna be more close into production stuff, because I'm starting productions. I want to experiment a lot with all I learned in this year, because it's basically 1 year that I started to.
Yeah, it's really recent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I started from 1 year, so basically I'm gonna do more. I have a lot of projects because I want to bring other formats into Milano scene, and I want to build real connections with people and collectives through my events also, because I want to shape a real reality, of course, for Evanisi, and I want to connect Evanisi to Hangover, to Sunday.
It's a big thing, like to
I think it's all
share
for that.
Yeah.
We're not like a kind of unique stuff, but we are like shaping the reality, and we can participate all together. So it's not like okay, I'm gonna do this only for me, so you are outside this.
Sure. Yeah, it's also cool to create something. Maybe you can create something bigger with different people, different collectives.
Of course, if we are together,
community,
if we are together, we are more strong.
Yes.
So basically, it's that.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you so
for
much.
coming, and you can now go and DJ.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Merci. Okay.
Oh my God,
So
I was like lost in thousands of liters of water.